Hello, welcome back to another Pick a Card Tarot video. This one is going to be about your next relationship. So this one is for you, especially if you are single. And we are going to be using the beautiful Light Seers Tarot deck today. So I'll be right back with some piles for you to choose from. We now have 3 different groups, 1, 2, and 3. So take a moment to meditate and see which one your intuition draws you to. I will be putting crystals on to help with your decision. All right, we are back with our crystals. Hopefully this helps solidify your decision. Go check the box below for the timestamps and click to find your reading. Okay, group number 1, let's see what is in store for you in your next relationship. And as we go through this, we are going to kind of find out what you have learned from your past relationships as well, just to kind of help you move forward. What's interesting is that you were drawn to the pink quartz, and pink quartz often represents unconditional love, and it just shows that you are ready for that unconditional love in your life. Maybe you've had it before, maybe you have not, but it is time for your next relationship to give you unconditional love. Your first card is the Tower. Now, just looking at this card, you might think that it has some negative connotations to it because it looks a little bit destructive. And that's because it is. It has to do a lot with unexpected change, some chaos, maybe having the rug pulled out from beneath you. So what this is telling me is that perhaps in your past relationships, you have had some really unexpected things happen. Maybe you thought everything was kind of, butterflies and rainbows, and maybe that didn't turn out to be the reality. But what that is telling me is that you have grown strong enough to be able to understand these things and know that that relationship was meant to teach you things, but it wasn't meant for you. So you've taken what you've needed and you've grown from it, and you can see that this animal's kind of just looking up at the sky and looking at what's going on. There's all of this destruction going on. And what I'm hearing is maybe this destruction was needed in order to get you to where you are now. So although it feels like you may have gone through so much, it is perhaps because you kind of needed this new awareness. Maybe you needed some of your beliefs challenged, and maybe you needed to be aware of this new perspective. So keep moving toward the light and keep listening to your intuition and just keep learning from things that have happened to you in the past, and don't let that be something that holds you back in the future. So if you are someone that you're not really sure that you want to be in another relationship because of what's happened to you in the past, just know that that was a time period for growth and you needed to learn those lessons in order to move forward. Okay, let's see what else is in store for you, or what else you have experienced in past relationships that you are moving past. Okay, so the 6 of Swords, you can kind of see that this is a symbol that she is moving you toward a better future. She is carrying a bag in this boat, and she is being taken across the ocean and led by these birds. And birds are often messenger symbols. So birds just show that you are ready for the next part of life, and that you are ready for the next relationship, and that you're moving through. You're taking all of this baggage. You can see that she does look sort of sad. She looks like she's been through a lot, and this is kind of her storm that they are carrying her out of. So this card actually goes really well with the Tower, because it's just going to show that you are kind of transitioning out of this period of learning. you are growing, and although you've had some sadness in the past, you are moving through it and you're on a journey to something better. Right away, just seeing that this is the Six of Swords, I can see that perhaps your next relationship is going to have improved communication. I'm getting that your last relationship, maybe communication was a little bit of an issue, and maybe you struggled to stay on the same page. And overall, that is really important to you. Being able to understand where your partner is at, being able to communicate what you need, that is extremely important to you. I also really see that you have analyzed what happened in your last relationship so that you don't make the same mistakes that you made with this next relationship, and you have grown as a person, so you are ready for that transition. This card often has to do with like the perfect timing. So know that if this person hasn't come into your life now, it is not anything for you to worry about. You just have to be a little bit patient and know that you are healing, moving beyond trauma and any shadows from your past, and that you are having kind of a personal evolution. This is a pretty big spiritual journey, so just know that your spirit guides are protecting you, and birds can also be messengers of spirit guides. So if you happen to see any birds in your life, just if you're outside, if you're on a walk outside your window, you can often look up what type of bird that is and kind of just use your intuition, because they often bring messages from our guides. Our next card is the Fool. And this one always makes me smile because this is kind of my card. When I first got into tarot, one of my very good friends, she was doing a reading for me, and she did a few in the span of a few months, and every time, or almost every time, the Fool would show up, which is really appropriate for me personally because I have a really hard time taking risks and just letting things come as they may. So you can see that this card just quite literally shows her leaning back, trusting, and kind of falling into something else. She can't see where she's going, and she is just kind of holding on to a crystal. She's holding onto a wand and just letting herself go. And this card has a lot to do with new beginnings, adventures, kind of a new awakening, and optimism. So in the relationship context, this card tells me that you are going to need to just kind of let go in order to find this person, which is the hardest thing, right? And often it seems like we feel like we're letting go, but life is going to steer you in the correct direction to the point where you are actually letting go and you are ready for this person. And often finding the right person takes you saying, I'm just going to let life come as it may. And this could say that you also need to just do other things. What I'm getting is that you have been kind of obsessing over finding that next person, finding that next relationship, and in a sense, finding yourself within it. And I think what this card just goes to show is that you're ready for a new beginning, not only in a relationship, but kind of with yourself. So you need to have two different relationships here. You need to have yourself, and you also need to have this next person. So make sure that you are tending to your own needs. Maybe if there's something that you have been thinking about doing, but you've been, kind of coming up with a list of reasons in your head of why you can't do it, or, oh, this is hard. I don't really understand how to do this thing. This part of it sounds tricky. Maybe just do some research, look into it, just start something, because the Fool often has to do with just beginning new things and letting yourself have that new beginning, even if it's not perfect. So just know that the universe has your back. This is kind of like your protection vortex down here. And this is you falling into your new beginning in quite a few ways. Also, this is to say that once you do have this person in your life, you do need to let old things go. And these things that have happened to you, where maybe things were a little bit chaotic, maybe communication wasn't what you wanted it to be, You do not let these things into your new relationship. You need to be able to fall in love with yourself and fall in love with this person without your past causing drama or coming back up, because this is an entirely new person and an entirely new situation. And it's okay to let them know, hey, in my past, I've experienced some chaos, some bad communication, and I've really had to work through that so that you can really trust yourself and trust this person and just have fun. I feel like maybe you haven't been able to have fun in a while, like you've had other responsibilities, or you've kind of been beating yourself up over what happened in the past. And I think just letting yourself have that joy and that enthusiasm, letting yourself be quote unquote foolish. I know that has kind of a negative connotation to it, but just letting yourself take that divine leap of faith in order to claim the reward that is waiting for you. And the universe truly is going to bring that to you once you reach the right stage. So you're not going to be able to force it. You'll just have to wait for it to come. Work on yourself in the process. And your last card is the Two of Cups. Wow. I love that I pulled this last, because this really does kind of show us a little bit of a journey, doesn't it? It shows us where you've come from, shows us what you're working on, what you need to do in order to get to this relationship, and then it shows us what it is going to be like. So again, we've kind of talked about how I think in your past, maybe your partner hasn't aligned with some of your values or some of the things that you really need to be happy in a relationship, and you may have had some betrayal in your past. But this Two of Cups really shows me that you are going to have a soulmate relationship come into your life. You are going to have someone that is divinely meant for you, that is going to fill your cup and make you so incredibly happy, and you will do the same for them. This card really has a lot to do with emotional duality. So I think that perhaps if you were missing a little bit of that emotional depth in your last relationship, this is going to take you where you have always wanted to be, and this person is going to be able to go there with you. You can see on this beautiful artwork that they literally have their hands entwined, and they kind of have some magic flowing out between their hands and their fingers into these cups. And I think it just shows that if you are allowing yourself to remove these emotional blocks and you are open to receive love, your cup is going to be filled. You are going to find someone where you are going to have intense cooperation and connection. And you are going to really understand who this person is on a very deep level and also be understood. So be ready for a pretty big life change with this person, because your life will never be the same after you meet them in a really good way. And you are going to be finding a soulmate, like I said, in this person. And I'm really seeing a lot of balance that you've been seeking. And since you have been really working on your communication and what you need, then you'll be able to express it to this person and be able to have what you have always wanted. What's also interesting about these cards and the order that they came out is look at the color progression. Just look at this. So this one is very dark. This one gets a little bit lighter, but you can see she's still a little bit sad. This one, they're just kind of taking that leap of faith. And then look at the explosion of color in this one. The Tower and the Two of Cups actually kind of mirror each other in a weird way, because you've got this mixing of colors, and I don't even know if the camera can pick it up. But these cards just have a really interesting duality to them. So this is where you've come from, and if chaos should happen again, I think your partner is really going to be there for you instead of kind of pulling away. I think you are going to be a united team in the face of anything that you might experience. Okay, so group number 1, let's see what else is in store for you in this future relationship. I'm going to use some of the Starseed Oracle cards to find out what is in store for you. Okay, so we have the Cosmic Heart, This one says devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. So this one just goes to show that I think you're going to have a lot of devotion in your relationship that you have not had in the past. So I think you can take comfort that this person is really truly going to be in this relationship for you and is going to want to make your life better. Okay, this is so ironic. This goes with the Fool. We also have jump in, and this one has to do with Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. So this might be that you are going to meet this person at some sort of activity or an adventure that you might not have done normally, but kind of getting yourself out of your day-to-day life and just experiencing something. So if you have the opportunity to say yes to something or say yes to a change that you can make that will put you in a different environment, I think that that is going to lead you toward your person. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one. You're not for everyone. So maybe you feel like you're a little bit of a loner. Maybe you have some interesting hobbies. Maybe you have felt like you kind of don't really fit in with everyone in the past. But I think that what this card is saying is that even if maybe a lot of people have not shown interest in the past, it is really about quality, not quantity in this sense. So don't worry if you don't feel like you are the most popular person or you're not getting so many offers from people to go on dates. If you're on any dating apps, messages, or matches, this just goes to show that when you meet your right person, that is all that you will need. You don't need a ton of different suitors. You just need your person. So go ahead and embrace your weirdness, face your true north, and just do you. This could also show that maybe you're going to meet your person while you're doing an activity that's a little bit niche, but that you find enjoyable. Just for a few more details, I'm going to pull some of the Moonology cards to see if we can get some more information about your next relationship. Okay, our first one here says a win-win outcome is forecast. So this is interesting because, again, it's about balance. Kind of goes with this card here, which has to do with kind of this duality of what your relationship is going to be like. And it's interesting that it says a win-win outcome is in the forecast. So I think that your person has experienced some of this heartache and some of this, maybe their last relationship ended abruptly or they kind of weren't getting what they needed either. So it seems to me like you two have been through some very similar things. You've both done some healing and now you are ready. And you might meet this person around a full moon. They might be a Libra. That might be an interesting hint. Okay, group number 1. I was about to move on to group number 2, but then I felt like I just needed to add a little bit more to this card. So I think what this card actually means, because right before we pulled this card, we got the bring love into the situation. I think that with these two cards, what this is telling us is that you are ready to bring love into the situation, but that you actually need to adjust a little bit of what you're doing once you get to this. So I think that not only do you kind of need to just do a little bit of shadow work, but I think what this is really truly saying is that once you have this next love, again, do not let your past impact your future. So adjust what you need to adjust, and you need to do a little bit of changing in this relationship and make sure that you are doing lots of communication so that the balance can really be true. So I hope that clarified a little bit on these cards, because I know that these two can really seem like they contradict each other, but I think that that's what it's trying to say. It's just that you can't be your old self in order to have your new relationship. So make those good changes so you can have the balance and all will be well. Okay, group number 1, I hope that some of that resonated with you. Please take what you need, and I hope to see you back soon. Group number 2, welcome to your reading. You picked the lovely green aventurine, which often symbolizes opportunity, luck, connection, and adventure. So let's see what the cards have in store for you for your next relationship. Okay, your first card is the 10 of Swords. And the first card in a love or relationship reading, in this case, since we grabbed 4, often has to do with your past. So what I'm seeing and feeling here is that this is kind of an ending for you that you've had to do a lot of reflection on. So 10s usually mean like the end of a cycle. So this could be the end of a past relationship that you have really been reflecting on. And I'm getting that it was a really painful ending. I think it had something to do with maybe you were not on the same page as far as what you wanted in the future, and you had to make that decision, or they made that decision to kind of end your relationship because it just wasn't going where you needed it to go. And although this hurt more than anything you've experienced prior to now, I think you've really had that time to reflect, and you are incredibly resilient. So even through your darkest times, you've had that little bit of hope that you are going to find your person and you are going to get through this. I am getting that this was something that you needed to go through for some personal transformation, and you have been walking on this transformational path for quite a while now. This has been kind of a dark night of the soul for you, but just knowing that you are going to be met with a beautiful new dawn very soon can kind of help you remain open to love and to joy as you process what happened. I think it has been hard to kind of process these negative emotions, and not wanting to let go of the past has been hard, but I think that it's very necessary in order to move forward. Okay, group number 2. Your second card is the Page of Swords, which is interesting because she generally has to do with some information. So I think that you have maybe gotten some new information about what happened to you in your last relationship that has changed perspective a little bit. If you haven't gotten that information, I'm wondering if you are searching for it, because it's really hard to be able to move on from your past if you don't feel like you have all of the pieces to be able to make the changes that you need to make, or just to understand what happened. So I'm getting that I think there's some information that has been coming across or needs to come across, and perhaps you might even have a friend who is going through a similar situation right now, and you're kind of talking them through it and helping them learn from your experience. And this might almost be kind of a mirror image of what happened to you, but just know that you should make sure you're avoiding kind of gossiping about it and not living in the past, because it is a slippery slope of just kind of learning from it, but also being too focused on it and not letting yourself move forward. This card can also symbolize that you kind of need to keep the light bulbs of your curiosity turned on and making sure that you are still stimulating your own mind and learning. So maybe if you haven't been learning about something because you felt blocked because it had to do with this person, maybe you need to jump back into that because you kind of have that spark in you that you want to be doing something that you are holding back from because you're worried that you might see them or it's going to remind you of them. Just jump back into that and don't be afraid to kind of be yourself, and don't feel like you need to walk on eggshells because of your past with this person. So this card kind of symbolizes your past. This one is what you are growing through. This next card is going to be where you are now. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles kind of symbolizes that you are healing, you are working on your own abundance, and that you are kind of fostering a community around you. So it seems like you have quite a few good friends that you can really lean on in this situation, and that you're kind of building a new community for yourself. Maybe your community was part of what you lost here. And what I'm getting is this person kind of blocked you from that, but you are finding your way to new beginnings, and you are able to kind of get that nurturing piece of yourself back and just getting grounded. Being able to know your self-worth is incredibly important, and maybe you didn't feel as valued as you wanted in the past, and so now you are kind of seeing your own true worth and not letting that be rooted in someone else. This card also has to do with some safety. So what I'm wondering is perhaps in your past, if you had to kind of run away from something and uproot yourself, and maybe you just didn't really feel as safe as you should have, whether physically or emotionally. And this is showing me that you are kind of at rest now, and you're able to take a big sigh of relief. Your last card is the Empress. And what's interesting about the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles together is that both of them kind of have a little bit of a parental aspect. And this doesn't necessarily mean an actual child, but it could just mean an idea or something creative, or just a venture that you've been working on that you need to bring to the world. It could actually be a child, but sometimes it's a little bit more metaphorical than that. So what I'm seeing is that you kind of had to abandon something. Maybe you're working on it, and you do feel kind of parental to this idea or creation. So there's something about you that you just have a really nurturing spirit, and that you're ready to bring abundance into the world based on what you have learned and kind of gained through this entire experience. I get that maybe you are a little bit worried about being dependent on other people, and you don't like to lean on other people. But what I'm getting is that in this next relationship, you are going to be able to depend on them without having to feel concerned. Maybe there was a money issue in the past, or kind of a living issue that was worrisome, but it is going to be a deeply fulfilling relationship where you'll be able to take care of yourself and take care of your partner at the same time, and not worry about dependency, because it'll be a team. This also makes me wonder if perhaps your partner is connected to this creative adventure that you are on. Perhaps you will meet them through it, or maybe they have their own and you are both just creative spirits who are kind of working through your own journeys of bringing something that the world needs to see to light. I also think this person is going to treat you like you should be treated. I think that perhaps your light was a little bit dimmed over here, and you can even see that this card is a little bit duller, and then it gets actually progressively more colorful. This happened with the last pile too, which is so interesting that you've got the most vibrant colors coming last, and you've got kind of a duller past over here, showing that this is gone and now we're moving into a brighter future. I think this person is going to treat you with this unconditional love that you have really been wanting, and they are going to treat you like an empress instead of just kind of pushing you to the side or letting you do your own thing. I think that they're going to let you have that independence, and you'll still always have these things be a part of you, but they are really going to treat you like an empress of their life and treat you with care, respect, and love that you have been seeking. If you are hoping that you are going to have children with this next person, these are really good signs as well that you are going to be able to be a parent with this person. And again, it might just be kind of this creativity that you're trying to bring to the world and the self-discovery that you're going to have with this person. But always a good sign, these two. Okay, now that we've gotten just kind of a general reading with the tarot, we're going to take some of these starseed oracle cards to get some details. Interesting. Your first card says, Inner Earth, you'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings, which honestly, this card and this card kind of look like they go together to me, that maybe you had something in your past that you really had to survive, and you have had to move past quite a bit of things in order to be able to get to where you are now, and that you're really someone who gives it their all, and you come up with these solutions and these new beginnings, which also has to do with this card and this card actually. So it just shows me that you are ready for this new beginning in your life and ready to grow this new relationship. I'm wondering if growth was an issue. Like maybe your last relationship, you thought you had everything, but you couldn't grow with this person. Like maybe you didn't want the same things. And solutions is an interesting word too. Like maybe you had some issues with problem solving and you weren't on the same page there. So you had to make the decision to end it ultimately. Okay, our next card is the 7-Star Sisters. Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expression. Okay, so we now have 3 cards that really have to do with kind of birthing something. So whether this is actual physical birthing something or just creating something for the world to see, this is really interesting that all of this has come up. So I really do feel like there is something going on that you are going to bring into the world, whether it be life or just something that we all need to see that you have been working on, that you've been afraid to kind of bring to light, or that you were afraid would never actually be able to happen. Maybe your last relationship put this doubt into your mind, but with this new relationship, you are going to be able to be very expressive and really be yourself. And again, this card kind of goes with you at some point along the way kind of stopped seeing yourself in the light that you wanted to see yourself in and kind of changed some things. So these cards are a bit connected, the Page of Swords and the 7-Star Sisters, that you kind of stopped seeing yourself as being able to create what you wanted to create or be curious about this information. And I think just bringing yourself back to where you were at the very beginning before your last relationship is really going to help you, and not letting it hold you back in this future or present relationship, because they are really going to accept who you are and encourage this expression. So make sure that you are not holding yourself back and kind of let this new era of consciousness in your life help you thrive. Let's do one more. Okay, I was just going to do one more, but both of these kind of came out together. This one says, I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. So just know that kind of reflecting on this past relationship, these are very similar, and just kind of going through these things is really going to help you, and remembering the past and learning from it is going to be what you need. The I'm sorry one is very interesting. So this really does make me feel like whatever happened with your past relationship was really, really difficult and almost like it harmed you. And I was kind of getting that with this card right here, that like this was, you had, again, we kind of have this survival situation. Like this really, truly shook you and harmed you to the point where I'm not sure that you did think that you were going to survive whatever was going on with you in this relationship in the past. So it kind of seems like perhaps you've had to atone with this person, and maybe they have said that they're sorry to you, but I'm not sure that you are going to get exactly what you need from them, that you're ever going to get what you need from them. But I think that what you need to do, you'll need to balance this in order to be able to move forward and kind of be the empress in someone else's life. And what I'm almost wondering is if you have a child or something that you have created with this past person and you are bringing that into the future relationship and wondering if that is going to be an okay dynamic, or you almost have wounds from the past relationship, something that you're bringing through. It just feels like there's something that's carrying through that you're not sure is going to be accepted into this new relationship, but just know that it is, and it's all going to be okay. So you're righting past wrongs, you're uprooting, which could be tough, and you've had to uproot yourself, but you know what to do, and everything is going to be as it should be once you can get through this. I feel like we just need a little bit more, so I'm going to use the Moonology Oracle deck to grab a few cards for even more details on this. This feels fitting. We have a time for healing. So you're going to really be healing right now and preparing for this next relationship. Okay, again, with kind of the safety, we are here seeing on here, you and your loved ones are safe. So what's interesting is I think you're wondering if you can really ever feel safe in a relationship again. And the answer is yes, that with your new person, you and your loved ones are going to feel safe, loved, and cared for, and that you're going to have what you have always wanted to feel like. Again, you are the empress of this person's life, and you're going to have that balance and understanding that maybe you haven't had in the past. We're also getting that you are good enough. So this really makes me feel, again, like you were concerned that you couldn't be good enough for someone, but you are. You are good enough for yourself. You're good enough for your loved ones. And you are also good enough for this person that you are going to meet. So just know that you can kind of lean into your divine self and be ready for this person. And you can kind of take a big breath of relief that everything is going to be okay. You are good enough, and what you have been through in the past is not going to mark your future. I feel like a big thing that we're getting is that the scars of the past are not going to impact you in the future, but you have learned from them and you are going to heal from them, as scary as they were. Okay. Our last card, a new romantic cycle begins. So this one says new moon in Libra. So perhaps they have a Libra sign, or maybe this is just kind of showing our duality and the balance that we're going to need, which is funny because our first group had Libra as well. Only they had a full moon. You have a new moon. So it's really starting this new romantic cycle. And you might meet them under a new moon. Who knows? Group number 2, thank you so much for watching your reading. I hope that some of this resonated with you, and I hope to see you again soon. Okay, group number 3. Let's see what we need to know about your next relationship. You chose pile 3 with a little bit of carnelian on it, which often symbolizes love, energy, passion, and creativity. So let's see what is coming for you in your next relationship. Okay, so your first card is the Ace of Pentacles, and often the first card that I pull in each group for love or relationship readings can have to do with your past. But in your case, I'm wondering if you have kind of even grown past things so much that we don't even need to go there. We're just ready to dive into what is actually coming for you. In our last couple of piles for this reading, they really had some kind of deep emotional scarring they needed to still be working through. But what I'm seeing with you, especially with these roots on the Ace of Pentacles, is that you have spent some time alone now, or you've had enough reflection to be able to kind of bring some new roots for new beginnings. And they haven't grown into the earth yet. You can see they're still just kind of making their way down there. But you have done your inner work, and you are ready to move past whatever's happened to you, and we don't even need to talk about it. I think also with the Ace of Pentacles, you are ready to begin a new cycle. Whenever we have the ace in a suit, it just symbolizes a new beginning, a new cycle, and just growth overall, that you are going to be ready for new opportunities. I think that you have had your solitude and you have enjoyed it. I think you've gotten to the place where you're wondering if a new relationship is really even for you at this point, and you want someone, but you kind of have your own routine and your own ways, and you just feel like this person is really going to need to fit into how your life works, and you're ready for that. You're ready for them to grow and be with you. But it's just interesting to me that I'm really getting that you kind of almost enjoy your life so much because of what you have created, that you don't necessarily need someone, but a relationship would be nice. That's the sense that I'm getting. Your next card is the Magician, which shows me that you have been working on manifesting this person. I think that, again, you've kind of been going through this growth period in your life, and you have been manifesting exactly what your dream person would look like, what their interests would be, how they would fit into your life. Because, again, I think that you have created such an amazing life for yourself, and you kind of have your different ways of doing things, that you would like a very specific type of person. And not only have you been working on manifesting them, but I think they have been working on manifesting you as well. So I think there's kind of two sides of this magic that's going on. And that's why you're going to fit so perfectly together, is because you both have been kind of doing the work, and you're both looking for each other. You're not looking for just any old person. You're not just ready to swipe on a dating app and have someone in your life. You really are looking for each other. So just knowing that you're going to have that spark and you're going to share a lot of the same interests is really comforting. And I think your alone time has really given you the ability to see within and see what your why is. Like, why do you want a relationship? What aspects are going to improve your life? How is this person going to be able to fit in, and again, just be able to do the things that you love to do with you, and vice versa? So I think that just kind of knowing that they're on the same page with you is really helpful, especially because I think that's been a concern. Like, is this person going to be able to arrive in your life and thrive, or how is this going to work? But I think there is going to be balance there, and you are going to have that spark. The magician is often known as kind of creating creating something and also creating sparks. There's another deck that in the guidebook, it says the first sentence on the magician is, "You've got the spark." So I think in a relationship situation, this is going to show that you are really going to have that passion for one another that you've been looking for as well. And I don't know why this always happens to me with pile number 3, but we have an extra card. I was just trying to pull 4, but another one came out, so we will go ahead and read it. This one spun around, if you noticed earlier, so it did come out upright, but just now I had to fix it because it had kind of spun to the side when I grabbed the magician. So the next one is the King of Pentacles. This one really just kind of goes with these two, in the sense that I think that you are going to be really comfortable with your next partner, and your lives are going to be able to fit together. So maybe you feel like you are past the point in your life where you are going to be going out in the world quite a bit and doing, late night activities where you're out and about, and you're wondering if this person is going to be able to adapt to that lifestyle with you. And I think that you really are going to be able to be comfortable at home together, doing the activities that you love, being able to do those activities that you weren't so sure they were going to be able to enjoy because they're so deeply rooted in what you have created and what you enjoy. You weren't sure if your person was going to match that. But this just shows that I think you're going to be able to have fun doing anything. It doesn't matter if it's cool or not. You'll be able to have your own activities that you do together that you've been doing alone, and now you'll be able to do with one another. This card also has to do with some stability as well. So I think you are looking for stability in your relationship. You're not looking for, like I said, just something that you can be in for a little while. You're really looking for something long term. And I think this card is saying that is really truly what's going to happen. And this wolf, I think, could also signify that you've kind of been alone for a little while, or it could also signify that you have pets that have been your companions through this time while you've been alone, and you've been wondering if this person is going to accept your pets because they are such a big part of your life. Or maybe you're looking to get one together and kind of see how that works. But overall, I think there's going to be a lot of comfort and kind of confidence in your relationship and being able to provide for yourself and for this person. And just prosperity and success. So I think you're both going to be very prosperous in the lives you've created for yourselves separately, and be able to merge them confidently without having to worry about fitting in together. So just know that expansion is possible and all will be well. Okay, the High Priestess. So this card, I think, just shows that you have quite a bit of inner knowing, and you know that you're going to find this person. And I think you've gone through all of this growth, and you've kind of known that it is bringing you along this path to be able to be in this comfortable situation where your lives are going to be able to merge. And just having that inner knowing has really brought you a lot of peace. And maybe at times you've been a little bit stressed out and not listening to your inner self and letting other people maybe shake your confidence and saying, oh, you should just get out there and go on a ton of dates, and why aren't you with this person, and you're too picky. But I think what this is saying is that everything is okay and you're not too picky. You're just waiting for your person. You're working on your life and your creative pursuits before you find this person. So I think making sure that you are listening to your dreams, you are listening to your inner knowing, your inner voice, and knowing that you have quite a bit of intuition, and knowing that all is going to be well and things are going to come to you in the time that they're meant to. What's interesting is the High Priestess and the Magician are near each other in the deck, and their numbers 1 and 2, and they almost feel like they have a little bit of duality in this sense. Like, you both have some magic to you. You both have really been kind of working on yourselves and working on what's going on in your lives and letting yourselves flourish. I'm not sure if this was always the case, but I feel like this is what you're going to be doing now, or what you'll be doing when you do meet each other, is you're kind of letting your magic shine and letting yourselves, you're both very unique is what I'm feeling, is you're both unique and you kind of let yourselves do your own thing. Like, you've been lone rangers, which is interesting that this wolf comes up, because wolves are often symbols of kind of being alone at certain times, but also being able to be part of a pack. So I think that you two are going to be able to fit together because you've had similar paths of just having to kind of do things alone and going your own way. But now you're going to, again, be able to come together and merge what you've been doing. I love that you kind of are similar and that you have that magic to you, like I said. The High Priestess can often also have to do with truth. So you're really seeking your own truth and wanting to find some things before you get into this relationship. And your last card is the Knight of Wands. And just right off the bat, by looking at her, I can tell that this relationship is going to be fun. You can see that the color is kind of this dark red and orange, and you are going to have a lot of charisma, passion, and spontaneity with this person. And because you've really been building up so much enthusiasm in your own life, you are going to be able to share that with them and just go on a lot of adventures. I'm seeing that you are ready to have kind of a travel buddy and someone who wants to experience these new things with you, because I think that you've experienced quite a bit on your own, but now you're ready to have someone who is ready to do this with you. I think you've been dreaming, and you might even have a list of different experiences you want to have or places that you want to go. Like, I'm really getting a map that you want to be able to like scratch off or color in. And I think what's interesting is when you meet each other, you're both going to have something that you coincidentally bought that is the same, that you're both going to kind of laugh about, because it just shows how parallel your paths have been. So I think that'll be an interesting synchronicity where you're going to find that you are truly aligned in that way. I think this card also shows that you're going to be able to have freedom with this person. Like, again, maybe you weren't so sure that they're going to fit into your life and you're going to feel a little bit trapped. But I think that this just shows that you're going to still be able to have that spontaneity, that freedom, that choice, and you're not going to be tied down or trapped at all. Like sometimes relationships can make you feel. You'll just be able to kind of take what you've learned and apply it here. I think your relationship might be a little bit different than the typical relationship. So other people might think that you're a little bit odd and ask you questions about it. But don't let that get to you, because your truth is different than theirs, and you've been living yours all along and you're figuring that out. So I think just know that this relationship is going to be so much fun. You're going to go different places together. You're going to have a lot of different experiences, and you will find that duality within yourselves, that you'll be able to still have fun and go where you would like to go. I'm also getting that you'll have your own path in life, where like if you want to go somewhere and they need to kind of stay home and do some work, then you'll still be able to do that because you've forged your own paths. You'll feel comfortable still doing your own thing if you disagree on where you would like to go. But I do feel like you're both ready for someone to kind of live life with and just have fun, not be as serious. I think you've been quite serious for a long time, achieving your dreams and going through your goals and growing. And now it's time to just have fun and relax and kind of let your hair down. Okay, so now that we have kind of a general reading, we're going to use the Starseed Oracle to get some more details. Okay, so what I'm getting is that this is a karmic relationship. So again, this is kind of some soul growth, and you guys might have a little bit of conflict, but you'll be able to move through it because you've been able to grow so much. And this card also, I think, could symbolize, see how they're really far apart from one another. This could just symbolize that you have kind of been moving toward each other for a long time now. It might almost feel like you're from different worlds, but this is a relationship that is meant to be. This one is interesting. You are not alone. This one just shows that I think you are going to find yourself within this person and know that you have been on these parallel paths. And once you meet, you are going to be able to just kind of show each other what you've been working on the entire time that you've been apart, and you won't feel like you are kind of the odd one out anymore. This one says, you've got the love, which just goes to show that you are going to be able to have these boundaries that maybe other people might not have because they haven't been through what you have been through, but you're going to be able to talk through things. You'll have really good communication, and you are going to have some really powerful love. Interesting. We had one more fallout, and this one also has boundaries on it. So I think this one is interesting, that maybe you have felt some weight, maybe because you haven't had a relationship and other people have been kind of whispering in your ear. But I think, again, just let it go. It's not yours to carry, and they just need to leave you alone with that. All right, now I'm going to pull a few Moonology cards just to get really specific. Okay, so we have communication is key. And this one is new moon in Gemini. So this person might be a Gemini, or you might meet them in a new moon. Or it's just going to go ahead and show that communicating with this person is going to be key to your success. Because I think, again, we've got this interesting duality, Gemini. You two are kind of two sides of the same coin, and being able to communicate is going to be something that you need to do in order for them to understand you, because you are very similar, but there are some things that they may not yet understand. This one is very interesting. Step out of your comfort zone. So perhaps you might meet this person in a situation where you are out of your comfort zone, or maybe just meeting people is out of your comfort zone at this point. And again, like we were talking about at the beginning, maybe you're not sure whether you really do want a relationship right now because you're so comfortable in what you already have. And just kind of what you've built. So I think maybe stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit is going to be how you meet this person and how your relationship is going to grow. Let's get one more. I love this note to end on. Prosperity lies ahead. So together, I think you're going to take what you have built and turn it into something amazing. This one says new moon in Taurus. So perhaps, again, you might meet them during a new moon, or maybe this is just a new start for both of you. And we've got Taurus, Gemini, and North Node for your astrology. So if any of those mean anything to you, then that could be a really good sign that your prosperity is coming soon. And overall, you are going to build a fantastic new life together. So group number 3, thank you so much for watching your reading. I hope this resonated with you, and I hope to see you again very soon.